Great villains can take a story to a whole nother level, and yet most writing advice on creating characters focuses almost exclusively on protagonists and even supporting casts. Oftentimes we're left wondering, how do you make a great villain? And where should you begin? Let's find out. What's up guys, my name is Brandon Mcnulty. I'm a writer. I've been doing it for 10 years. I've won contests like Pitch Wars and Rev Pit, and this channel exists to help make you a better writer. Today we're going to talk about villains, particularly where to begin creating them. I often use a technique that I call coin theory. It's a really simple idea. Basically you have a hero and a villain, and they're two sides of the same coin. There's only two rules to it. First, you gotta have common ground between the hero and villain. And once you find that common ground, you need to find a difference within that common ground. What exactly constitutes common ground? Well, I think you should make common ground meaningful. And in order to do that, there's plenty of different ways of going about it. Number one, I would suggest thinking about occupation and the role within a society that characters play. So if you have a hero and villain that share the same job, that's a great place to start. If you don't do that, you can also go off background, whether it's family background, maybe two characters share the same military background, or maybe they grew up in the same area, went to the same school, all kinds of possibilities. Another great example is to use hopes, dreams, aspirations, any sort of long-term interest that a hero and villain could potentially share. And then finally, think about things like skills, superpowers, talents, anything like that. The easiest example I can give you is from Star Wars. Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, two sides of the same coin. What coin are we talking about? The Force. Now, keep in mind that Luke and Obi-Wan Kenobi both share the Force in common, but they have that common ground and they more or less use it for the same purpose, which is, for good in this case. However, Luke and Darth Vader in this example, they use the Force for different purposes. Luke uses the Force defensively in order to help people, whereas Darth Vader uses it to conquer and crush people's throats. So keep in mind when you do come up with an idea to make sure that your hero and villain differ within that common ground. Another great example, and this is a more recent one, is the movie A Quiet Place. If you haven't seen it, it's about a post-apocalyptic world where these monsters have come to Earth and they're these creatures that they hunt based on sound. So if they hear you make any kind of noise, they're going to come after you and they're going to kill you. So they're the villains, obviously, in this story. And the group of heroes in this story is a family of 5. They're a pretty average American family, and they're able to survive because they have soundproof their home, they communicate by sign language, and they've basically managed to hide themselves from the villains. Now, you might say to yourself, well, I don't really see how these two groups can have anything in common. I mean, one is a group of normal people, the other is a species from a whole nother universe. How could they possibly have anything in common at all? What they do have in common is the idea of using sound for survival. Obviously, the group of monsters uses sound to hunt. If they hear something, they go after it, they kill it, they eat, they continue to survive. Now, the group of heroes, they use sound in order to protect themselves. They use it in order to survive within a world where making the slightest noise can get you killed at any instance. They're very fortunate that they had a deaf daughter because that forced them to learn sign language prior to this apocalypse. They're able to survive in this world, whereas other families that communicated verbally were not. Question of the day, where do you begin building your villains? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. This is the first part of a multi-part series, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can see future videos. Also, check out my other videos, and please remember to never stop writing.